Hello watchers, and welcome to this video all about jar juggling. I'm Spiritly, a professional jar juggler. Okay, I'm joking. This video is actually going to be all about the Kuretake Art Nouveau Set. It is a gorgeous set that I've been wanting to get my hands on for a while, and I finally did get it. And I am not disappointed. Spoiler alert. So yeah, in this video, I'm gonna swatch out the colors. Of course, it just has to be done. But I've decided to try and make a illustration out of the swatches rather than just doing the usual squares. So stay tuned for that. To begin, I have pre-wet the palette with just water in a spray bottle. These are thirsty paints, so we'll need to use a pipette to add more water later. And I will be using a Princeton Velvet Touch round No. 4 brush to create these little roses. I will leave a link in the description box for the line drawing of this swatch chart. It will be A4 like this one, and I will also make one so it can fit as an inlay inside of the box as well. The link will be to my Patreon shop. I have just got Patreon, so my page is a little sparse, but I will now start to populate it from now on. Next up, I'm creating a swatch book for this set. Art Nouveau in general really inspires me, so kind of want to make this kind of fancy. So continue watching if you want to see me do that. If you want to create this yourself or do something similar, I will leave a link for most products that I use. It'll either be a Jackson's or an Amazon link, but unfortunately the X-Cut dyeing machine is no longer available, other than perhaps maybe eBay. There will be other manufacturers that do something similar. Now that I've made 24 swatch cards with the Archer's rough watercolour paper, so I'm going to swatch out the colours on here, so I can use them as future reference. I do want to kind of go up towards the edges as well so I can compare them when I'm doing whatever it is that I'm doing in the future, because as I showed you a little bit earlier, because of the consistency, I was using this as sort of like the gouache effect. It's made them quite shiny, So yeah, I've got a good idea for what all the colours are, and I like how they've worked with the paper, but it's just I want to see how they're going to water down to the sort of watercolour effect side of these paints. So let's get them open. I have gone ahead and painted on there as well. It is a little bit tricky because this paper's a little bit shiny, but I mean you could always make your own colour chart anyway and stick it in there. So that's not a major issue. The other thing as well is I want to keep this little plastic cup tray because you could use this as a mixing palette, I think. So I'm going to keep that. And plus it just keeps the paints from sort of moving around a little bit. The other thing that I've done as well is because I've not done it on these ones, but you get movement in the palettes. So what I've done is I've used just some of this non-slip netting that you get from, you're supposed to put it like under rugs and stuff like that, and I've just cut it up and put it underneath, so it just stops, well, it did stop any sort of movement, so it just makes it easier, because it's only a little thing, it just annoys me sometimes. So yeah, let's get on with swatching these. So if we take the yellow, number 404, you can see the difference with this paper. It's horrible, isn't it? It sort of made it chalky and sort of vanished a little bit, whereas obviously on the arches, the pigment, the colour, the breakdown of it just looks wonderful. But I can't see one of the black swatch samples that actually looks somewhat okay. I mean, I suppose that one's the closest you're going to get, but again, it just looks like really horrible paint. Now I'm wondering if it is actually the paper itself, which I suspect it is. So what I've got is a little pad of the Legion Stonehenge Aqua Cold Press Black. Obviously I've been testing some bits and bobs on here anyway. So I'm going to try on this paper and see if it's the paper or if it's just simply these paints won't work on black, which it may be the case. So let's do a yellow. Oh, I need a bit more water on that, otherwise it will go very pigmented. I mean, already they're going on better, because this is the weird thing with the Van Gogh paper, is you've got those stripes where the mill or whatever they've used to squish the paper. Let's try the red as well. Oh, a bit more water on that. Let's try. I'm not going to try the pink because the pink is not a very pigmented colour anyway. So let's try this light blue. Oh, wow. Hello. Where is that on the other paper? I think that's it. I know this isn't dried yet, so we'll see how it dries. One more colour. One more colour. Let's try this. No. Let's try the 406. So just give that a few minutes to dry so we can really see how it's either soaked up or not soaked up or what. And then we'll compare it as well. Okay, so they've dried on the Stonehenge. So this is the blue. Clearly it's much more opaque and more pigment and just looks better on the Stonehenge paper. This is the yellow, which not too bad now that it's fully dried. This is the red though. Almost looks more like a brown, whereas it's still got a bit more orange on there. And then this is the 406. I think it's a, what is it? What is it? Beige grey. Again, it almost pretty much disappears. So definitely with the black watercolor paper, you really do need to get a decent one. This Van Gogh one is crap, basically. I think it's what I got in an art snacks box once, and I've just had it lying around, so I'm like trying to use it up to see how it is. I think I did some pastel. Yes, I did do some pastel work on there, which was okay, but again I found that all the lines it showed through. But yeah, so I'd highly recommend, if you do want to use black watercolor paper, get the Stonehenge Legion Stonehenge one. But again, obviously these are more geared, if you use them very thickly, like if you can see on the blue here where it's quite thick on the edge, it is very opaque, but obviously you can't spread the paint as much. Or I suppose you could work in layers as well, but these are not permanent layers, so they will reactivate if they get too wet. So that might be a bit tricky, but if you're looking for subtle effects on black watercolor paper, then these will work as well. But I just wanted to try and swatch them on black watercolor paper, just to see, basically, just to see. But you know, it's very much a failed experiment with the Van Gogh paper, but the Arches paper is delicious. I'm just sort of looking at them all now to put them in order, and then I'm going to bind them together and create my little swatch book. now I've got them in order, what I'm going to use, because it's quite thick, anyway, I'm going to use, I would normally use a split pin, but it's not really strong enough for all of this. So what I'm going to use is what they call a Chicago screw, or a bolt screw, I think they also call it. I think Chicago screw is the more one. And basically it's a long pipe with a screw on the end. So you just simply use the holes at the top and put them through. But what I'm going to do with this is I've created a little cover with the die cut sets that I've got. So that's going to go on first. And then you just simply pop them all in the hole. The other thing I've done as well is I've created a hardback just to A, protect the papers underneath, and B, just to give it some more rigidity. So then once you've got everything in order that you want, you then simply just screw that into place. Now there's a screw head there, so you can actually use a screwdriver to tighten it up, but I don't need to at this moment. So there it is, a little Art Nouveau inspired swatch book. I'm going to write on these obviously the number and the name, but I'm also going to try and find out the pigment information as well. And then on here I'm going to write obviously the Kuretake Art Nouveau Set in hopefully some nice handwriting. But yeah. I love this so much, it's so cute. What I'm expecting to do next with this Art Nouveau set, because I love the palette so much, they've really captured a lot of the elements for the Art Nouveau style. So I love the colour palette so much. I actually want to kind of mix it up with the Derwent drawing pencil colour palette as well. But for now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and recreate this palette with pastel pencil and also my Holbein gouache that I love so much, just to give me more options in terms of media. And then the other thing that I'm wanting to do is create some, let me go get a reference book. Now when Art Nouveau was in its heyday, they were making posters for all sorts of different things, and they made these wonderful, these are my 4 favourites, these are for the seasons, but they made these wonderfully graphically pleasing posters, but they all feature obviously beautiful women and, you know, botanicals and, you know, nature. And, you know, but they still had a geometric sort of graphical element to them. So I kind of want to do the same thing, but instead of using women as the focal point, I'm going to use actual Art Nouveau buildings. So you'll see like elevations put in with like, hopefully a very beautifully graphical composition with lettering as well and whatnot. So I sort of want to do a series of those using this palette. I'm also going to do a book review on this book as well. So yeah, quite a lot of Art Nouveau video content coming up. So please subscribe if you know that's what you want, because there will be a lot more of it coming. But yeah, leave me a little building emoji or a little flower emoji in the comments below if A, you've got this far in the video, and B, if you want to see more of the poster art that I want to create. Let me know if that is something that you guys would be interested in. But yeah, that is it for this video, for getting started with this Art Nouveau set. I hope it's helped you guys, whether you're just interested in the set, or if you've got the set, or you're thinking about getting the set and you're not too sure about the colours. I personally love because as much as they are slightly muted, they're not as muted as the Derwent drawing colours. They've got a bit more vibrancy to them, but they do have more earthy tones. So they're not they're sort of in between sort of vibrancy and muted, which I quite like. I quite like indeed. Yes. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this and you're going to look forward to more Art Nouveau content from me. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. Bye for now.